Most product managers get to the end of an interview and ask questions for one of two reasons. They want to validate if they actually want to work there, or they want to make themselves look smarter. And here's the thing. Both of those approaches completely ignore the most important thing you need to know so that you can land your next role faster and earn more money. Hi, I'm James Ganaka. I've helped hundreds of product managers land their next roles and negotiate significantly higher offers. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to approach asking questions to make sure you're set up for success so you can stop the guesswork and start preparing more effectively. Let's first break down the problems and the types of questions most people are asking in interviews. Number one, when you ask an interviewer a question about what it's like to work at the company, they know that they're speaking on behalf of that company in a very forward-facing way. And so they're not going to give you honest, candid feedback about what it's like. They're going to tell you what they think you want to hear, maybe, rather than what's really happening there. I would never expect a hiring manager to be honest about just how awful working with the VP of sales is or how often they have to build something because the hippo said so. If you want to get real information about what it's actually like working at a company, you should be talking to product managers who already work there and aren't involved in the hiring process. Number two, when you ask a recruiter how the product team is structured or to tell you about the product operating model at the company, they likely aren't in a position to answer that well. In most interviews, you're lucky if you get 5 minutes to get answers, and that time is precious. You don't want to waste it by asking the wrong question to the wrong person. Number three, asking questions early in the interview process about the company structure, how they do goal setting and such, doesn't actually help you prepare to succeed in later rounds. It's maybe interesting to learn, but these are details you can learn later if they actually matter, and most of the time they don't. Number four, really thoughtful questions to the right people can reinforce you care about the right things. You just need to understand that if they were a no on you as a candidate, no question you ask is going to change that. At the same time, asking the wrong question can flip you from a yes to a no. If you bombed the case study, asking about their agile rituals won't save you. And if you crushed it, you're already going through. So asking things like, what is the single biggest challenge this team is facing right now, shows curiosity, but if you're not using that information to inform your preparation for future interviews, you're asking it for the wrong reasons. Number five, when you start off at the beginning of the interview process, the power is completely in the hands of the company who's invited you to the interview. They've just received hundreds, if not more than 1,000 applications and are setting up calls with maybe 1 or 2 dozen candidates. Meanwhile, you're probably only interviewing with one company, hopefully no more than 5 at a single time. So the power is really in their hands to be selective. And so when you're asking questions designed to validate that this is a place that you want to work, that's showing a lack of awareness of where the power sits at this stage of the interview process. That power balance shifts in your favor the later you get into the interview process. When they've narrowed it down to 1 to 3 candidates and are ready for this search to be over just as much as you probably are. So those are all the problems with typical approaches people take when it's their chance to ask questions. Here's what you should do instead. First, you want to know exactly what the format will be for the next interview, the function or role of the people you'll be meeting with, and what they really care about. Some recruiters are great at detailing this process out for you, and some companies even publish it on their website, which is great. Use that information, but always double check and get it in writing if you can. You should never jump on an interview call unsure about what to expect. If you're unclear, chase that recruiter. It's their job to help you. Ask questions like, should I expect to tell some stories about my experience in the next interview? Once you know what to expect, you then want to know what are the most important signals that next interviewer is looking for. You can ask things like, what are the 3 most critical skills or areas of expertise the hiring manager or interviewer is looking for? This should guide your preparation about which stories you'll want to tell. If the hiring manager says their biggest challenge is misalignment with stakeholders, then in your next round with the head of product, you can talk about your stakeholder management framework or how you built trust when there was none. If you want a video on how to approach writing your stories to prepare for interviews, leave a comment below and I'll put it together. And hey, if this is resonating, go ahead and click the like button. You can also subscribe to get more videos like this to help you in your product management career. All right, next, you want authenticity from the person helping you to validate if this place is right for you. And most of the time, you won't get that when asking an interviewer. You really need to be reaching out to product managers who work at these companies because that's where you're most likely to get that authenticity. Now, I created a framework and scripts to do that kind of outreach, and you can find a link to it in the description. It's completely free and helps my clients learn more about companies and get more interviews. Not only can you learn about what it's like on the inside, you can also learn about the problems the team or hiring manager really cares about. And this can be your insider's advantage. Too many people think about outreach solely as a way to get referrals, and that's narrow thinking. Okay, and finally, you want to save the really tough questions for the later stages of the interview process. Once the power balance has shifted in your favor, that's when you're going to get the information you need to make a confident decision. And that's when you're not having to trade valuable information to get it. When it's in the later stages, they don't want to lose you as a candidate. If there's something you're unsure about, something that makes you feel a bit uneasy, now's the time to ask. If you found some bad Glassdoor reviews, the appropriate time to ask what they're doing about it is near the end of the process, not in the early stages. Look, interviewing for product manager roles is a game, and you need the right tactics to win. I wish it was more about doing the job effectively, but it's not, and it probably never will be. So don't waste your question time trying to look smart or validating the company before you even have an offer. Use it to get the information that will help you prepare and succeed in the next round. Rely on outreach to get more authentic insights into the company, and you'll be on your way to offers in no time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.